I was more focused on the cats had huge thighs. All of the cats had like gargantuan thighs, and I was like, that can't be a cat thing because cats don't even have thighs, really.
Brunch! Hit it, boys!
Merry Christmas, Pete.
Hey, Merry Christmas.
What?
You said that last time.
I think it's like a seasonal thing.
All right.
Someone's angry with coffee cups. They say they've changed them too soon. But all I hear is a choir singing silver bells to you. Forget complaining about decorating. We wouldn't do that around here, 'cause the holidays only come once a year. Oh, the holidays only come once a year. Oh, the holidays come once a year. They only come once a year. There'll be certificates of gifts and baskets of fruit. The season of sharing for old and the youth. That holiday spirit will never get long in the tooth. A cinnamon cookie to munch with a friend when that son of a bitch Kringle has done it again. Ra-pa-pa-pa-pa-pa, it only comes once a year. The holidays only come once a year. Oh, the holidays come once a year. They only come once a year. So close the pantry, no more snacking. You keep me plentiful, my dear, 'cause the holidays only come once a year.
Just every episode for the next month or so, just start off with Merry Christmas.
Keep it going, maybe even a little past Christmas. Okay, that was the international smash hit once a year, the holidays. Little known fact, a song named by Pete. Pete came up with the name for that song.
What was your idea?
I said when we were uploading it, I was like, should we call it... Oh, I said, should we call it The Holidays? And you said, no. No. It's got to be The Holidays in parentheses.
Yeah, I love parentheses.
Once a year. That's... Yeah,
I love like random song names that have nothing to do with the actual song, and then like
fill
sometimes
you in with the parentheses.
Yeah,
and you're like, couldn't have just started with that being the song. We're doing a mini little holiday episode. We figure so today's Monday. I don't know. Maybe some people would be going home on Monday, but actually, if you had Monday off, you probably would have gone home Friday or Saturday or Sunday. But at any rate,
whatever
if
your
you're
schedule
traveling.
is.
If you're going home Tuesday, it's just a little quick fun thing for you. We'll
or if
probably
you're
end up
spending Christmas by yourself. That's okay too.
That's true. Happy Hanukkah.
Yeah. Shout out to all of our people celebrating the holidays, which no matter what holiday you celebrate,
It's only coming once a year.
It only comes once a year.
So don't you take it for granted. I am wearing my Happy Hanukkah. What does it say?
Happy Hanukkah.
Yeah, I'm wearing my Happy Hanukkah shirt.
Did you make that? Oh, no, that's actual High merch.
They made it.
It looks like
few years
bootleg
ago.
High merch.
It looks bootleg as hell. And this year they actually came out with like new. It's the most wonderful Haim of the year stuff, and I've got both of those.
Does it look legit?
The OGs. The new one looks legit. I like the bootleg.
Yeah, same.
Kind of looking one.
Yeah.
So we're coming down from quite the high right now. Pete and I just watched and threw up laughing at SNL's Weekend Update.
Which, if you've ever listened to this show before,
Yeah.
you know that we're not the biggest fans of Colin Jost.
Not a Colin Jost fan. I would say that I will always put me down as an SNL fan. Institution, et cetera, et cetera.
I always want SNL around. I would
God,
say that like it hasn't been the best of recently, and I think a lot of it kind of gets like overblown because everybody just remembers the nostalgia of SNL and like obviously
God,
they
totally.
had an all-star
this isn't
cast
as good as
and
it
stuff.
used to be when it's this episode isn't as good as the best of Will Ferrell,
Right.
when all of the sketches on it were hits. Let me tell you, when Will Ferrell was on, they still SNL like
The batting
is
average
supposed to
wasn't
hit, like,
amazing.
300. You're
Yeah.
supposed to hit 300 with
Right.
sketch comedy, I think.
Yeah, you get like 1 or 2 good skits out of every episode, then you're golden.
And that is because that's
especially now when that shit just goes like on the internet.
right.
That's all you need.
So, Weekend Update was hilarious this past week because Leave It to Us, by the way, the like Eddie Murphy Lizzo episode everyone's so excited about. We come out of it being like,
Colin Jost, he's really got
does
it
again. Colin Jost and Michael Che did a joke swap, which apparently they've done in the past, where they write jokes for each other and they have to read it. And don't want to spoil it, but it was just Michael Che made Colin Jost look horrible. Gave him like racist jokes to read. Terrible. Very, very, very funny stuff.
Highly recommend.
Colin Jost, though, had some pretty good ones himself for Michael Che.
Yeah, like that's a tough thing to do. Write jokes for somebody else that make them look very bad without like crossing a line.
Totally.
Yeah,
I think that if somebody were to do if somebody were to do it's the same thing for us. If they were like, hey, read these jokes, this would be perfect for you, Pete, or like this would be perfect for you, DJ. I feel like I'd be protective of you, and I'd be offended at what people would think is like a DJ joke. You know? So
You'd be like, well, actually, the joke is
right. I'd be like, if you could think of DJ jokes, you'd be a lot farther along, my friend. Okay, please. I don't see you having a podcast.
But I highly recommend that Weekend Update, which will probably be the last time that we ever say that on this show.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe they've got it. Like they should just do that for the rest of time now. They should just write each other's stuff because I came away from that being like, Colin Jost, you got chops, young man. I'm not often saying that. Quick little note on Colin Jost, by the way. It made headlines that Scarlett Johansson said that Colin Jost is the love of her life. Mm-hmm. They're engaged.
Yeah.
She's in love with him.
I would certainly hope so.
How is that headline?
It's usually that's how that's supposed to work.
And legitimately that was a headline. That was the top moment on Twitter for like a week. It said Scarlett Johansson calls Colin Jost the love of her life. And I was like, oh, did people not know that they were engaged? Something. I clicked on it, and it was just like,
Engaged.
the beautiful woman thinks the man that some think is beautiful.
I know that's sort of like I feel like that headline is like very passive aggressively being like, yo, Scarlett Johansson loves this scrub.
What's up with ScarJo?
Like going through some shit.
Take a break, ScarJo. You're in love with Colin Jost, man. No, shout out to them. Hope they're happy.
Must point out that Colin Jost, the third love of Scarlett Johansson's life.
Yeah, whatever. Though I'm not gonna.
I'm not gonna shame her, but like, gotta say.
Oh well, I think that
Not the
whenever
first.
somebody's like, "Oh, this person's the love of my life," I'm like, a lot of I don't
You
know.
just haven't met everybody.
I would say like 20% of relationships. You think this could be like a real heavy hitter?
Yeah.
Right. Probably something like that.
Something. Yeah, I don't know.
No, there is some where you're like, this is probably a bad idea, and let's see what happens. And then you're like, okay, confirmed bad idea. But I don't know. There's some optimism that comes with every.
I think whenever anybody's like, "Oh, this person's the love of my life," it's. I think like my first. Maybe it's just me as like a cynic. It's like, really.
Oh, I'm a huge believer. You said that you haven't met everybody.
Yeah.
I'm a huge believer in like there not being a one. I think there's probably
for sure.
There's probably like
100 people in the world for every single person.
I would say like 10,000. There's like 10,000
based on circumstances. You're probably right.
That you could have like a super compatible, great, good life,
a happy
with.
life with. Yes.
Yeah, and I don't know, like not to like water down the idea of the one, but like you've probably met a couple already in your life. Everybody probably like cross paths with like a couple of
just
the
wrong
ones.
place, wrong time.
Yeah, just wait till the next one.
Yeah.
Like. I don't know. I think that we're just like backdooring our way into being like there are plenty of fish in the sea.
Pretty much.
Okay, so
or just backdooring our way into being like, yo, Scarlett Johansson, you're not in love with Colin Jost.
That was the SNL talk. I said a couple minutes before we came on here, I made a shocking discovery. I posit that Lana Del Rey's Norman fucking Rockwell is about Josh Tillman.
Oh,
and it for sure is. When I say
really?
like, I posit, like if you connect enough of these dots, no, I have to pull up. I don't have notes. I just texted all these things to one of my friends. Okay, it is 1,000%. Okay, so first let's go through some of the lyrics of the song Norman fucking Rockwell. First words of the song: "Goddamn, man, child."
Goddamn.
And as I'm listening, I'm thinking, I didn't notice the first time. That's kind of like Jesus Christ girl.
Mm-hmm.
Goddamn, man, child.
Mm-hmm.
And then she says something about you act like a child even though you stand at 6'2". I think
you
checked
checked
a pretty
the Google?
tall guy. Threw out a Google Josh Tillman height. 6'2". And then she
self-loathing poet.
She says self-loathing poet. She says resident Laurel Canyon know-it-all. Mm-hmm. That's where he lived. And he made a lot of references to Laurel Canyon. Mm-hmm. And so those were like the three that stood out to me. I pulled over the car, started texting the proof. Then I looked up like, wait, did I make a fool of myself? Does everybody already know this? And there was a Reddit thread of somebody pointing out a couple of these, but it kind of died down. I think that these things, these bits of proof, are so strong that I wonder if like they're fucking with us. Like, how did the next day when people listen to that album, people not be like, this is seemingly about Josh Tillman?
Yeah, and I mean, like they have a connect. They right. are previously connected, so that does seem like that would be the easy conclusion. Now that I think about it,
right? And they're friends with. I mean, like, as you said, like
if this was like an FBI investigation, he would be like the first suspect,
prime suspect,
yeah.
Prime suspect. And on the Reddit thing, people were like, she's friends with Emma Tillman. Any more brain busters? That doesn't mean that. I don't know.
Especially for Lana Del Rey, who like
who knows how we're like
sort of like brands herself as like this fucking badass,
right?
That's not out of the realm of possibility.
And now like we're actually kind of. I was going to say I don't want to be a gossip podcast, but so
Hell
far
yeah.
I'm liking the gossip this episode. This is a pretty juicy episode.
We do a lot of gossip, but we sort of like mask it in the hey, we don't know any better.
True. But this is like, so we've now gossiped.
It's now we do know better, and this is real.
Yeah, this is all right. Let's gossip a little more. Who knows?
I mean, all of these lyrics. I don't think I've ever heard the song, but I'm looking through the lyrics right now. They all sound like they could be Josh Tillman. There's nothing that throws you off the scent.
Let me pull up some of the lyrics. Okay, goddamn man child. So do you agree though? Goddamn man child could be Jesus Christ girl.
Yeah.
Okay. And I remember when I listened to it, I was like, how did that not stand out to me? And it was because the next line is, you fucked me so good that I almost said I love you. And
that's always
my
the one that you go
eyes
to.
fell off of my face because they rolled so hard.
The only thing that I know about this song is that you reference it quite often about just people like beating around the bush to having sex.
That show that she
does not do it.
Right.
Yeah.
She's like, so audience, guess who was knocking boots last night? This one. But she doesn't even know because knocking boots would be
that's
equivocating relative
that's like
to
making it cute.
You fucked me so good.
Yeah.
Your poetry's bad and you blame the news. I don't know. A critic of pure
that
comedy
might be the
could,
one.
yeah.
That might be the one that throws you off the scent because that poetry is not bad.
What he says, what's, and holy shit, Coliseum Family, Golden Era, no, satirical news, free energy, he says. So your poetry's bad and you blame the news. Let's see, Color Me Blue, and then the song's okay. Let's see, Self-Loathing Poet, Resident Laurel Canyon, Know-It-All.
You talk to the walls
saying
when the
know
party
it
gets
all.
bored of you. That seems like a very Josh Tillman thing.
What did she say?
You talk to the walls when the party gets bored of you.
I could see that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I don't know if I could see a party getting bored of him though.
Yeah, he seems like the kind of guy. If he goes to enough parties with the same crowd, they'll just be like, "Oh my god."
Let me guess, Josh. What is it now? Because you're just a mate.
But I don't get bored. I just see you through. Why wait for the best when I could have you?
Is Elizabeth Grant
That's her real name.
her name?
Yeah.
Isn't that Lizzie Grant is that it's a character in Entourage, I think.
Sure. I've never seen it.
Cool. Still the coolest thing about you. Okay, so I don't know if that does. I don't know. Listeners of Brunch, I bet, like Norman fucking Rockwell. The reason I listened to it was because it's making a lot of like number one spots in album of the year talk. Mm-hmm. And when I listened to it, I was like, "Oh, this is good. I'll probably listen to it a couple more times." But it's didn't blow me away, so I'm trying to listen to it again to see if maybe I missed something. And instead, on the first song, I got distracted by potential Father John Misty rabbit hole and went down that instead. So I knew this was going to happen. We were like, let's do a little thing to drop in, and we'll play the Christmas song a bunch of times, and that'll fill up whatever time, and we'll talk about cats. But I knew that we would end up finding stuff and having some extra stuff. So that's all the preamble. Want to play the song one more time, and then we talk about cats, or just get right into cats?
Let's play the song.
Okay.
This is a Brunch world premiere.
This is a world premiere.
It's a world premiere.
World premiere.
What up, Bruntouchables? This is your boy Jeff, and you are listening to a Brunch world premiere.
It's a world premiere.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a world premiere.
Let's go.
Merry Christmas, Pete. Hey, Merry Christmas.
What?
You said that last time.
I think it's like a seasonal thing.
All right.
Someone's angry with coffee cups. They say they've changed them too soon. But all I hear is a choir singing silver bells to you. Forget complaining about decorating. We wouldn't do that around here, 'cause the holidays only come once a year. Oh, the holidays only come once a year. Oh, the holidays come once a year. They only come once a year. There'll be certificates of gifts and baskets of fruit. The season of sharing for old and the youth. That holiday spirit will never get long in the tooth. A cinnamon cookie to munch with a friend when that son of a bitch Kringle has done it again. Ra-pa-pa-pa-pa-pa, it only comes once a year. The holidays only come once a year. Oh, the holidays come once a year. they only come once a year. So close the pantry, no more snacking. You keep me plentiful, my dear, 'cause the holidays only come once a year.
Just every episode for the next month or so, just start off with Merry Christmas.
Keep it going, maybe even a little past Christmas.
It's good that we played a song going into Cats because Cats is just fucking song after song, after song after. They just don't. They don't.
One of my
stop
first
singing.
one of my first notes was maybe this is on me. I thought there would be dialogue.
Yeah,
There's no dialogue
No,
in this.
there's like maybe 3 or 4 lines of dialogue.
Yeah,
And like I would say about 95% of the movie is songs, which okay, if like the songs move the plot forward, sure, I'm okay with it.
well, then you're not okay with it.
Because
they
there's
didn't
no
do that.
plot.
There's no plot in
There's
this
no
movie.
plot in this movie. But like 95% songs, about 4% slam poetry, and
Okay.
then 1% they speak. When they spoke in this
Yeah.
movie, it was so rare and happened so infrequently that it made me uncomfortable.
So this movie, as an overview, everyone's talking about it. Terrible reviews. Everyone's saying it's like one of the worst movies ever. I think that you and I would both agree with that. It failed spectacularly at the box office. It made $6.5 million opening weekend. And if you're wondering if that's good, last week, Black Christmas's $7 million opening was considered a catastrophe.
And that was going up against like that had some competition.
Richard Jewell, Bombshell.
Yeah.
And Black Christmas is a Blumhouse movie.
Yeah.
So that did not cost $100 million to make.
No.
And this did cost $100 million to make. Also, we are reviewing, I believe, the first version of Cats,
Yes.
because in an unprecedented move, the director has sent theaters an updated version of Cats that he says has better special effects. I will say, I was immediately distracted by how bad the special effects are.
Yeah.
So I think it's between Sunday night and Tuesday, people should start people should start getting the updated version. I'm pretty sure I saw it Saturday night, you saw it Sunday night. I'm pretty sure that we both saw V1.
Yeah, and I'm glad that I did. The special effects were very distracting. They were very bad. Like the faces sort of like moved around.
Yeah.
like the human faces on the
This
like
had
the
worse
cat
de-aging
structure.
technology than The Irishman.
It was very bad, and also like the costumes and stuff made no sense to me.
Yes.
They just
Sometimes
really
they're
did
wearing
not.
heels.
Yeah, some of the cats had clothes. Like Jason Derulo had a nice little like actual fur coat on.
Yeah.
So did Judi Dench. Also, like I'm very confused as to what kind of fur they're wearing. Is it? I have no idea.
Right.
I was able to get past that, but like about 90 minutes into the movie, there were just people wearing Converses, and it made no sense based off of like everything was sort of to scale. Like they were. Like there was a scene where they raided a jewelry box,
Yep.
and they used like an earring as like a big ring sort
Yeah.
of thing. So like, what size are those shoes? Who are those shoes made for?
So I'll tell you, the cats were mostly to scale. The cats were. I started to monitor it about halfway through
But
the movie because
everything
I
else
knew I
around
wasn't going to
them
be.
wasn't.
No, like if they were. Oh, right. Like objects weren't.
Yeah,
Like if
like
they were in a room,
accessories.
they were the right size for the room, but
Right.
the other things weren't. That is correct. So.
But that I'm willing to get past that.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's a very goofy, very nonsensical sort of production. But like even if they fix the special effects, way down the list of my issues with this movie.
Right. So let's just go linear. We'll go Wine Actually style. So immediately, I started with a question I didn't know I had. Like as everything's starting, I'm like, wait, are the cats humans or are they like cats? Like, do they move around like humans? They move around like cats. They're humans. There's a big scene.
But they do move, like the very first glimpse you get of them, they move around like cats. They're on all fours.
And then once they start going, they are like humans. I didn't realize until the movie was starting that I legitimately didn't know a fucking thing
Me
about
neither.
cats or the play or anything. I didn't realize till after, and people like told us this. No, the play doesn't make any sense. So like my biggest overarching thing was this was a terrible movie. But I think it's because
source work is
Cats
bad.
is terrible.
Yeah.
So that's at least one little excuse.
You can't put that on the movie. Well, I guess you could say that the movie should have done better with the source material, but the source material was bad to begin with.
Right.
But also, like, who is this movie made for? I think it was only made for people who already like cats. Because they did very little to explain any part of the movie.
No. Did you understand anything?
Not a single
thing.
thing.
I didn't understand anything in this movie, and I knew. Sometimes I know when I'm not following something. They're like,
Maybe
I
I
just don't
missed it.
have it today.
Yeah.
I had it. I was sharp as a fucking tack, and I didn't get a thing. First big opening number, real mess. They sing a song that is just asking this new cat a million yes or no questions without ever even considering giving her a second to answer them.
Yep.
They're just like, boom, do you have a driver's license? Boom, do you go here? Do you go there? Ba, 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 ba. And then like the song ends and the cat's like, well, to answer, and they're like, oh, next song, okay.
There is I mean, that's a theme of the entire movie. There's very little room to breathe.
Yeah.
At all for like people answering questions, for songs between songs and things like that. But the opening number, about 10 minutes long,
Quite long.
super long,
Yeah.
way too long. And I think that like I understood maybe about 3% of the lyrics, which is
Right.
tough for
I'm like,
something
Jellicle's
right-
not a word. I'm pretty sure Jellicle is
Oh,
a word.
let me tell you.
They're throwing around
If you don't know the
J's
word
like
Jellicle,
crazy.
just skip this movie altogether because
Yeah.
the word Jellicle,
Right.
not explained, said a billion times in this movie.
And I'm sitting there asking myself, what the Jellicle am I watching? Because this doesn't make any sense. So they continue to do songs. If you're wondering, what are some of these songs about? That I can't answer for you. Every song is a new cat introducing itself. And
just saying what it does.
the theme of like each cat introducing itself is, this is no ordinary cat. No shit. Every single one of them walks around wrong and has an English accent. I've never
wearing
thought for
Converses.
a second that any of these are your ordinary cat. Jason Derulo's one especially, they're like, man, this cat, really crazy. He's always dancing and stuff. I'm like, you were all just dancing. All of you were dancing.
Yeah. Yeah, and the one that I was like, this doesn't seem that weird, is they were making fun of Rebel Wilson's cat because she just falls down and eats a lot.
So she's the only real one out
Yes.
of all you motherfuckers.
Yeah, they were like, "Wow, this cat is so weird.
What a
it
clumsy-
falls
yeah.
down and eats a lot. Also, here's this cat who is a practicing musician. He's more normal."
Yeah.
There's a lot of fat shaming in this movie, by the way. They fat shame Rebel Wilson's cat, and they fat shame James Corden's cat. Like, that's all they do to James Corden's cat.
One of my notes, 30 minutes in, never have I been so happy to see James Corden.
I gotta tell you,
when James Corden came in, I was like, oh my God, thank you. It's something I know. Like, do crosswalk concert, carpool karaoke, something. Save me, James.
I gotta tell you, James Corden was probably the best part of this movie. He was good. He was as good as he could have been.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind James Corden. I think that James Corden has some like Kevin Hart to him, where there's just some fatigue that every 3 seconds is, hey, did you see this thing where James Corden's saying? And I was like, no, but I saw the other ones. 40 minutes in, they've just done the song about the cats and how they steal stuff. Yep. And I legitimately was like, is this movie going to start at any point?
I think I resigned myself like around
that was when I was
point.
like, we are too far in, and like the movie's only got like an hour
beyond
left.
saving.
We're halfway through, and to my knowledge, a story hasn't started yet. I don't know any of these cats' names except for Grisabella, which is a fucking tight name. Naming my firstborn
There's
that.
Victoria, who
Okay.
is the main, like the new cat on the block.
Okay.
And
and
she's
there
the one
is
that
Deuteronomy because I tweeted
Yes.
Deuteronomy. Hardly know her.
There's Victoria. She's the new cat who only makes one face the entire movie.
She makes the Taylor Swift face, but she's not Taylor Swift.
Yeah, it's very, very true. Taylor Swift easily could have played that character.
Right.
There is Rum Tum Tugger.
Oh, yeah,
that's such a good name.
There are some good names. I actually will give it to you. There's Idris Elba's cat, which is named Freddy Krueger because it's Freddy Krueger.
Pretty much.
He just like comes and goes and disappears and does magic and takes people away.
I'll tell you, I do know that cat's name. It's McCavity, because I really honestly thought that they were singing about a cavity for the first 45
McCavity,
minutes.
and that's what Taylor's singing about.
Yes.
Taylor only has one scene, like 1.5 scenes, and
It comes like 90 minutes into the movie. So if you're going to see this hoping that you're getting like your fill of Taylor Swift,
right.
you're probably going to be out on this movie by the time you see Taylor Swift.
I think that Taylor Swift's team should be pivoting, taking a quick little break.
About
From
8 years off
from
2 Olympics.
No, no. Her team should take a break from blaming everybody else and using social media as a weapon for Taylor not buying her masters, and instead focus on playing up the. Oh, she only did like one scene in Cats. I don't know why everyone's associating Taylor with this Cats movie. She was just in it for like 1 second.
Yeah,
not in this movie.
And this was really like driven as like, Taylor Swift's in Cats. She's not really,
Yeah.
and that's a good thing for her.
Totally.
She also wasn't bad though.
Right, the McCavity song was good. It was confusing though. She was doing her cat had heels and the other cats didn't have heels. I did like the cat that had tap shoes. That was a cool cat.
That was a nice little break in the action.
I really want tap dancing to come back.
I'm not opposed
Like I would
to
love
it.
to learn how to tap dance.
Yeah.
How sick would that be? Bust that out. You see the Soul Train episode of Fresh Prince?
I don't believe so.
They're all taking turns on the line dancing, and then when it's Carlton's turn, man, he taps his fucking
Tap dance
face
son
off.
of a bitch.
He does one dance that you'll probably recognize. Not like this, not the
Tom Jones?
right, not the Tom Jones dance, but he does the people know what I'm talking about. I wrote.
How'd you think Taylor looked, by the way? Quite thick.
Yeah,
Yeah, she was like very busty.
I wasn't. Oh, I wasn't. I was more focused on the cats had huge thighs. All of the cats had like gargantuan thighs, and I was like, that can't be a cat thing because cats don't even have thighs, really. They do, but like they're not standing up like that.
It's not like a defining feature of most cats.
They all looked like they had very muscular lower bodies, is what I'm saying.
I think that like some of them like looked more sexualized than others, which was uncomfortable.
Okay, so I did not find this movie to be nearly as horny as people were saying it to be.
Yeah,
This
well,
was
people-
not a very horny movie. This is
I thought it was
usual PG horniness.
There was
which is
several like
just a decent amount.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it was overblown, but there was definitely like a horniness factor to several points in this movie.
I think really it was only towards the end that I was like, okay, it's kind of horny. Well, the magic guy is horny,
Yeah.
but there are a
like-
lot of like lingering looks that happen. So I guess if
Yes.
those are if
and
that's
like a lot of
horny-
like rubbing the noses. I know that cats do that, but like it happens so much, and it's like very like tense.
Yeah.
At a lot of points.
I actually
So,
wrote down that Taylor's song was pretty horny. I didn't remember it being particularly horny. But
Idris Elba was like super muscular. I know that Idris Elba is super muscular, and that he's supposed to be the villain, so it sort of makes sense. But like he seemed more like not safe for work than a lot of other characters in this movie.
yeah, was his face like shiny?
I have no idea.
It was
I don't
like-
remember. I know that his eyes were quite green.
Oh, that's what it was. So this was, I would say, bottom 10, very possibly bottom 5 movie I've seen since.
I was gonna say. I
Since
thought you
I
were gonna
started
say,
watching
I thought you were
movies
gonna
in
say like of
2014.
the year, and I was gonna say I think this is one of the worst movies that I have ever seen in my life.
I I'm trying to think. This is the worst movie of the year. I mean,
all things considered, for sure. $100 million budget with like a great cast.
Biggest disaster for sure. I did jot down other ones that might contend with it that I've not for the year, but since I started watching movies 2014. The Layover, The Snowman, Bohemian Rhapsody, Bye Bye Man are the other ones that stand out as like, holy shit, how was this a movie? This was so awful.
But throw the Bye Bye Man out the window because that's like a low budget Blumhouse.
Bye Bye Man is supposed to be terrible.
Yeah, and I would say
The Layover probably the same deal.
thing.
Yeah.
Bohemian Rhapsody, I would say also throw that out because like it's very bad, but like it's Paint by Numbers biopic that like
right.
We hated it. We hated it, but it knew what it was. And even if that is like a shitty thing,
right?
It was okay in its execution of what it wanted to be,
right?
But I will say, I mean, this I would say like of the movies that I've seen in the past 15 years, the only one that I can say for sure right now is worse than it was Downsizing, and I think the Downsizing is the worst movie that I have ever seen, and I will stick by that.
Downsizing is a contender. I don't quite put it down there, but for some reason, what stood out to me as I thought of like how bad this movie was, The Meg, which is like, that's like your classic bad movie.
Yeah,
that was like 100 times better.
Yeah, because it had a plot.
that was legitimately. I was like thinking about The Meg in context of this, and I was like, The Meg was all right.
And like the thing that sucks is that this movie, it's going to be memorable because of how bad it is, and like it's a complete disaster, and that warms my heart. But this movie had so much potential to be like a disaster, but also like a very endearing disaster because like even if it just had a plot, you could watch it and like laugh at some of the dumb shit that happens. I will never go back to this movie because I can't understand the songs.
Right.
There's no plot. There's really nothing to enjoy from this movie after seeing like the initial viewing and just seeing how bad it is.
So let's play a game called What Happened in Cats, where we try to explain what happens in Cats. And like legitimately try. Don't like let's not like mail it in and be like, oh, guess we didn't know that movie stunk so bad. From what I gather.
And like if you listen to this podcast, you should know that we were trying to find ways to like Cats.
Oh God, yeah.
Like it
would have been great for business.
Yeah. And I'm surprised that we didn't already hit this, but like I'm shocked that the opening was so low. Because like obviously the reviews were so bad, but the reviews were so bad.
That's what made us want to see it.
Exactly.
Katie Nolan pointed that out. And that was I had no intention of seeing this movie. Like,
I definitely
at all.
did. We were gonna see it.
I was going to
what.
begrudgingly see it. I ended up
my excitement
like
levels
moving my
went through
weekend
the roof.
around. Yeah. I went and saw it. Actually, I didn't. I had to work late Saturday because the Patriots played, and after I was like, I'm either going to go home and like not sleep for a few hours, or I can go knock out Cats right now. And there were 2 other people in the theater. Opening weekend.
Oh, I had a
Saturday
bad theater,
night.
by the way. There were a good amount of people in my theater, a decent amount, and they were just like the worst crowd because I think that they went because they knew that it was going to be terrible.
Yeah.
And so they just treated it like a joke, and they were like literally talking, and the woman like 4 seats next to me was just straight up laughing out loud and mocking the movie the entire time, which it 100% deserves to be mocked and laughed at. Don't do it during the showing.
Right.
I'm trying to give it a chance here.
Right. Okay, so from what I gathered, a new cat hits the streets of
London,
I was going to say New York
Britain.
for some reason. I was like, those are not New York accents. All right. New cat hits the street, literally emerges from a bag.
Yeah, that's
Cat's
true.
out of the bag.
Yep, cat is out of the bag.
And meets a group of cats that has one open spot for membership.
Yeah,
and
there are a few some sort of
who
meeting happening.
Okay, there are a few cats who want to be in this club. Some of the cats are way more established than the other cat, and you would assume like they're not already in this club. What have they done in like past auditions that they haven't gotten the nod? And one of the cats that wants to be in the club hates all the other cats and is super rude and super mean, and I don't understand why he wants to even be in that group anyway.
That's
and he has
McCavity?
Yes, and he has magical powers.
Yeah.
And he can do anything. So why is he so preoccupied with being one of the cool kids?
If he's such a good musician, why is he trying to beat out everybody for that spot? Just
Right.
use your magic, man.
Right. So I'm confused by that. And the Judi Dench decides who gets to. She's like the panel. She's
She's
Simon
the judge.
Cowell.
She's the Simon Cowell. So
Yeah.
what I said after the movie, I said this movie is basically Cats is basically Britain's Got Talent, and they just instead of having talent, they just sing. They just don't stop singing. But it's Britain's.
So that sounds like Britain's Got Talent, probably.
Yeah, that's pretty
They
true.
just sing the whole
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, and like there's some magic, but there's like an occasional magician, but most of it's singing.
Okay. And at the end, I don't even know who they choose. Did they choose the Taylor Swift face?
No, they choose Jennifer Hudson.
Oh, that's right. They choose
Jennifer Hudson, who plays apparently
Grisabella.
the trick is to just be as sad as possible, because Jennifer Hudson is just the saddest cat the entire movie, and it has tears in her eyes the entire time.
Jennifer Hudson pulled the old rope-a-dope. I did that back in the day. I was at a Red Sox game, and Derek Lowe, it must have been his first or second season with the Red Sox. He was in the pen, and a bunch of kids were screaming at him, like, "Derek, give me a ball, son of, give me the fucking ball, give me." And I just very quietly, I didn't say anything, just innocently put my hand out.
And he
gave it to me.
Disrespectful young man.
He was like, "There's some pain behind those eyes. Here, have baseball, young man." And I went back and immediately told my dad. He was like, "How'd you do that?" I was like, everybody else was being all flashy and showy. I was just like, if you want, I will accept this baseball. And he gave it to me.
Yeah, so Cats is basically Jennifer Hudson crying her way out of a speeding ticket or something and getting entry into the club.
No, but she didn't cry away. She wasn't super. She didn't lay it on thick. You know?
She kind of did. She cried the entire
I would say
movie.
less thick than everybody else.
She was, but she was genuine in her sadness. She wasn't trying to be like, oh, I'm going to be the sad cat to get this spot. Also, I think the spot is in heaven or something. I have no idea what's going on in this movie at all. But I saw people saying afterwards that all the cats were vying to die.
So this is the second best cult movie of the year.
Yes, it is. There are ties to Midsommar.
This was, I mean, it
Midsommar
definitely
was in its own way like a talent show.
Yeah, it had. This definitely had some culty vibes. Was there a lot of 9 Lives talk? I don't recall.
No.
Mostly 3 names talk. Every
3
cat
names.
has 3 names. That was when I gave up on the movie, and that was
That was
1 second into the movie. They're like,
It's
listen,
like the first musical number.
hey, new kid, what are your names? And she's like, I think that's the only dialogue in the movie. She's like, names? And they're like, we're cats. All of us have 3 names. I was like, wasn't going to even know one of your names, so I am out.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that there was no 9 Lives talk, because they did a lot of the old cat references, and I don't know if that was a Broadway Cats thing, but they had
Someone said, look what the cat dragged in.
Oh, look what the cat dragged in. Also,
that was the only familiar moment of the movie for me.
Don't mess with the crazy cat lady.
Oh yeah, that was stupid.
There was the reference to the cat's out of the bag.
Yep.
And landing on its feet. Oh, cat always lands on its feet. There's some of that. But other than that,
there was a plank. They had to walk the plank sometimes.
yeah, cats do that all the time.
Right, as you do. You got to walk the plank. And then they were like, "Oh, and cats can't swim." I realized while watching this, I was like, I don't know anything about cats.
I knew that cats hate water. I think that they
Really?
Yeah.
Is that why they drink milk?
No, they drink water too.
But you give them.
Oh, if we're going to talk about the milk, there's a scene in the milk bar, and that was, I think, one of the sexual scenes where Jason Derulo is literally just pouring milk in all these cats' faces, and then there's a scene where James Corden is just a lot of James Corden tongue action.
Okay,
He's and it just goes on for 90 seconds too long.
I did. One of my notes was that Jason Derulo's cat was the only one I cared about, and then 6 minutes later, I was like, nope, don't care about him either. I don't care about any of these cats.
I did I like Sir Ian McKellen's cat.
Okay, why?
Because he's just like a fucking old
Oh,
cat.
yeah. He really did.
He was just like a very cutie patootie old cat.
Yeah.
And there was like a scene where he's drinking, I think, water or milk in like a storage closet. I don't know. This movie is so fucking weird, dude.
It was thoroughly a terrible movie, and
We've got
not in like a. It was
so good it's bad. So
like
bad it's good.
like I'm never going to want to watch another second of that again. I might toss on Taylor's song, but that's it.
What about like meme worthy? Is it meme worthy?
I don't know. I'm becoming a bit dubious of intentional meme placement. Like, I think that like Baby Yoda had to be a lot of the Baby Yoda stuff. They had to have been like, and they'll meme this.
Yeah.
Let's do it like this. That way they'll meme it.
Yeah, I think that's probably accurate. But I don't know. Like, I just feel like this movie is so bad all over the place that it's very difficult to be able to find a distinction in like what was bad on purpose.
Right. Let's make a. Can we do a Ma Cats meme mashup?
Hell yeah.
Where what could be what scene could we take from Cats that Ma is eavesdropping on?
Oh man, shoot, I don't know. Like I don't
can't
remember
even think
scenes
of,
from
like,
Cats.
one like classic image or one thing that would be funny.
I guess like the one in my mind that like stands out is either the Rebel Wilson one because she just falls over all the time.
Yeah,
and they hammer it over the head that like Rebel Wilson loves to eat and fall down, and that's like the basis of her entire character.
Only true person. Cat, whatever, in that whole group.
And then there's a scene where James Corden is just rummaging around in trash for like 10 straight minutes.
Yeah.
So those are the two ones that stand out to me. And then obviously the Taylor Swift scene because I was just waiting for that. And that one was they are really heavy on the catnip.
Yes, I didn't. Yeah, a lot of sprinkling catnip, a lot of dumping catnip. Mm-hmm. Really, some heavy catnip.
She comes down in like a moon, a half moon that shoots catnip out of it.
So is she not in the club?
I don't think so. I think that she's just McCavity's apprentice,
like hype man.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was going to say she's like the DJ that opens for McCavity,
Yes,
where it's not like oftentimes when a DJ is the opening act. Like, they don't really have their own stuff and their own music, so you can't really check them out beforehand. That's what that kind of was.
Yeah.
This person just kind of dropped in. No one
Out of
really knew
nowhere.
who she was. But she got the crowd hype.
Yeah. Well, with a lot of
Fucked
drugs.
them up.
Yeah, a lot of drugs.
On drugs.
Some, like catnip napalm.
I did say that I thought this could be a watch on drugs movie, but I have no idea. So I'm not going to recommend that because what if you do drugs then watch this movie and it's even worse?
I mean, I don't
because it makes no sense sober.
Like
so maybe there's some connection and maybe there's some things.
I feel like it would hurt your brain on drugs. Like,
I mean it.
Brains hurt. I mean,
it
drugs
didn't
hurt
do
your
great
brain.
for my brain sober.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like if I were to be under the influence, like I have to work a little harder to understand things sometimes.
Yeah,
and that can be frustrating. So if you have to work a little harder to understand this fucking movie,
official stance: don't do drugs to this movie.
Just don't do this movie.
Right.
Just stay away from it.
It's not worth watching. Like I don't know. We had a fine enough conversation right now off of it. But there aren't even like humdingers where you're like, can you believe this? Oh, this was so absurd. We're just like, we didn't know what they were ever doing the entire time. None of it was funny. None of it was interesting. We didn't know a thing the entire time.
So that's
and
the
we're
thing,
two
like,
of the smartest people in the fucking world.
That's the thing. Like it is extremely absurd, and I think that like to a point it wanted to be. But also to a certain point, like it took itself seriously that it didn't go completely over the top, and as such, we don't have super memorable things to take from it.
Right. I was taking copious notes, and there wasn't one big humdinger.
I will say,
honestly, like biggest takeaway was just that every song is a cat introducing itself.
Yeah, that is like the only thing that this movie is. It's just cats introducing themselves, and then they pick one to win the talent show at the end of it, and the prize is that the cat dies. Apparently, I don't know. And also, there was a scene. I can't believe we haven't mentioned this yet. There's a scene with cockroaches, and they have children's faces.
Are those cockroaches or beetles? She does say beetles.
She does say
but
beetles.
I don't know if
they look more like cockroaches to me.
I don't know. They did have
but they
a
have children's
vibe.
Faces.
I don't know what those fucking things were, but that was super weird. And
she eats them. So
as
Rebel
I was
Wilson
watching that, I was like,
children.
As I was watching that, I was like, I know that this isn't in the play. They don't have a bunch of like insects on stage.
How'd you know that?
Because they can't. That can't be a thing in the play.
I mean, if any of this other shit can be a thing in the play, why can't that be a shit in the play?
I don't know, because like they have to toss like magnifying glasses on them and be like, "Hey, they're for real."
They probably just use real children.
I don't know. It stunk. That movie stunk.
I have nothing good to say about that movie.
Yeah. Merry Christmas.